Alright, in this video I'll be explaining in depth how our wiring diagram software works, so let's get right into that. Here you see my screen and we already have a pre-made diagram. On the left side you can select your alternator voltage, so your van or your boat or your bus has an alternator which charges the starter battery. This starter battery is either 12 or 24 volt. So if you have a 24 volt battery, you can select 24 volt. And according to that, you'll get a DC-DC charger, which is compatible for now for a 24 volt alternator voltage and a 12 volt system voltage. I'll just put it back to 12 volt. Here you can select the system voltage. So the system voltage is the voltage of your system. So your leisure battery or your household batteries are in this instance 12 volt. So you'll have a 12 to 230 volt inverter or a 120 volt inverter. And if you want to have a bigger system, we recommend that you go to a 24 volt system because you have less current running through your wires. You can use less thick wires and it's a bit more safe in that way. So you can select also a 24 volt system, and based on the 24 volt you can also choose different inverters and alternator chargers or DC-DC chargers. So there are a lot of possibilities. You can also choose 24 volt alternator voltage and a 24 volt starter voltage. It's all compatible in that way. I'll just put it back to 12 volt now. And then we also have the AC voltage. It is 230, but it can also be 220 or 240 and 120 volts for North America. Also, if you select a 120 volt inverter, certain options will be available for you. So you have Victron Multi-Plus Compact, which is available for 120 volts only. Same goes for 230 volts. Furthermore, in the top right corner you can select your measurement system. We have a metric system and an imperial system. And the metric system uses meters and square millimeters, and the imperial system uses feet and AWG for the wire size. So you can change that accordingly, and yeah, the cables will be calculated like that. I'll just put it back to metric because I'm from the Netherlands and we use the metric system there. Furthermore, you can select different kind of languages: Dutch, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese and even Polish. So if you select that, all the text will be translated. Next up is the bus bar you can select. Right now we have selected a Lynx distributor, and this is very handy if you have big systems like 3000 VA or 3000 watt, because this is a nice and a compact and a very decent bus bar made by Victron. But if you have a smaller system, you can also choose a different bus bar, and we call this the individual bus bar. It looks like this. It is a MIDI mega fuse holder in combination with a negative bus bar. Next up, what you can select is what we call the battery selection. You can select two types of household batteries or leisure batteries. This is either a lead acid or a lithium. If you do not know yet, you just press not sure. And based on this selection, you have certain alternator chargers which are available or not available. For example, if you select a lithium battery, you cannot choose a Victron Cyrix relay to charge your household battery, because that's not compatible. So we try to make it as safe as possible so you can't make the wrong choice. Also, if you have a lithium battery, you can here see, let me just zoom in a little bit. You can here see our main fuse, which is connected to the positive pole of the battery. And at this moment, this is an MRBF fuse, so a marine rated battery fuse. And these are sufficient to catch shortages from lithium batteries. Based on the maximum current which can flow through your wire, we change the main fuse. If we go and select a bigger inverter, for example a multiplus 3000, you see that the main fuse changes. Here it changes to a T-class fuse. This fuse is also mandatory when you install a lithium bank, because same as the MRBF fuse, this one is rated for the high currents a lithium battery can provide. If we go back to our battery selection, we can also select a lead acid battery. And if we select a lead acid battery, you see a different fuse, because lead acid batteries can use a different fuse. We put here a mega fuse. So all the fuses which are green and looking like this, these are mega fuses. The yellow ones are MIDI fuses, also used here in our alternator charger. And this is then again a T-class fuse, and if we select a smaller multiplus, we will get the MRBF fuse again. And here you can see what size it should be. Well, next up on the list is the number of batteries you can select. I don't think I need to explain that because it's pretty straightforward. Next up is this part. This part is the battery monitoring. You can say, I do not want a battery monitor because my battery has a built-in Bluetooth monitor that of course sometimes, so you can select I don't want a battery monitor. You can select the Victron Smart Shunt. With this device you can easily monitor your battery status via the Victron Connect app, and it's very easy to read out. Next is a battery monitor. This can be a Renogy battery monitor or off-brand. This can also be a Victron BMV battery monitor. This is universal. And next up is the Victron Turbo GX. So this is one of the most advanced battery monitors from Victron. When a device is compatible, you see that there are wires going to the Victron Turbo GX. So here we see an alternator charger. This is a Victron Orion 1230. This one is not compatible with the Victron Turbo GX, but if we change it to the Victron Orion XS, you see that the connection with the Turbo is automatically made. Then we also have a battery protection part, which is regarding the 12/24 volt appliances. Now we have selected an isolator switch, and in that case you can easily connect or disconnect all your 24 or 12 volt appliances. You can also say when you have a lithium battery or a bit more of an advanced system, you can say I want a battery protecting my battery from too deep of discharge. You can also select that. And if you say I don't want anything, you say I don't want any protection, and it won't be visible. Next up is the alternator charging. So here we have a few options. You have no alternator charging and a DC-DC charger. There is one more option, which is the Victron relay, the Cyrix, and that one is only possible if you select a lead acid battery and if you have an alternator voltage of 12 and a system voltage of 12, or both are 24. So now you see here we can select the Victron Cyrix relay. I don't recommend people using this one. I prefer a DC-DC charger. You have two types of chargers. You have an isolated version and a non-isolated version. So the isolated version has two negative wires, when one goes to the starter battery and one goes to the negative bus bar. And the other one is a non-isolated version, which has one common negative. Then you can select various different type of chargers. Here we have the Orion 1230, the Orion XS, and we also have some active devices. These active devices are, I think, quite popular in the Netherlands and Germany, but if you're from North America, you can't use these. So in the future we will be adding Renogy chargers and other compatible brands, but for now we just have these. But if you remember what I said at the beginning, you can select different voltages. So if you have a 24 volt alternator but you want a 12 volt system, you can select the 24 volt alternator. We go back to alternator charging, and then we see some different options. So this one is compatible with a 24 volt alternator and a 12 volt system voltage. Same goes for the Victron Orion XS. This one is compatible with that and an active BB60. Then we also have some versions for the isolated ones, but this is only one. And this goes for all different kind of options. We have different options for all these things, so that's how that works. Next up is our solar panel selection. So you can select 0 solar panels or all the way up to 5. You can select them in series and in parallel. We also have an isolator switch you can use if you need to, and you can select quite some solar panels. Next to that, we tried to calculate the correct MPPT charger. What we did is we took all these panels and we watched on the Victron side and we put this in the calculator from Victron. We selected one solar panel, how big should the MPPT charger be. We checked it on the Victron website and we put it in here. Same goes for all of these, all up to 500 watts. But as you see here, there is not a correct Victron Smart MPPT charger. This one, it doesn't know. So we calculate the MPPT charger based on preset values from the Victron MPPT charge calculator. So this means that it is preset values. If you have a solar panel with a VOC of 100 volts, then you should calculate your own MPPT charger. But for most solar panels, you can just use this one fine. Next up is the inverter section. You can select various type of inverters. You can select no inverter, inverter, Victron Multiplus, active CSI and active SSI. And this is because I have a 24 volt system. If I put it to 12 volt, we have some more options. We have a Victron CSI Pro and an SSI Pro. And once again, when I press AC voltage 120 volts, we also get a few less options because active is not available in 120 volts. For now, I'll just put it on 230 because it has the most options. Here you can select an inverter, and the inverters are shown in VA, volt amps. These are the Victron Phoenix inverters, and then we have inverters shown in watt. And the wattage is like an off-brand inverter, so one you find on Amazon or whatever. And if we select 3000 VA, we can see the Victron Phoenix inverter. Next up is the Victron Multiplus. We have for the 12 volt variant up to 3000 volt amps. And if we go to a 24 volt system, you can go all the way up to a 5000 volt amp Victron Multiplus. For now, I'll just put it back to 12 volt. Next up is the active CSI. Again, if you are from Germany or Europe, you might want to use this one because it's a bit cheaper than a Victron Multiplus. It's good, but a Victron Multiplus has way more installable options. SSI Pro, this is all not such a big deal. Then we have the SSI Pro, the active SSI, which has an integrated solar charge controller, so you can select your solar panels, and this is integrated with active SSI. Yeah, you also have a remote control here, which you can toggle on and off. And then we also have the SSI Pro. So those are all the options for the 230 with 12 volt. I'll just show some 120 volt options because that's relevant as well. These are the options for the 120 volt, and for the Victron Multiplus we have a 2000 and a 3000 VA inverter. Alright, next on the list is the battery charger. Now here we can't select the battery charger because we have selected a Victron Multiplus. And a Victron Multiplus has a built-in battery charger. That's why we can't select one. But if we want to select one, it's only possible if we select a normal inverter or no inverter. Then we can select a battery charger. And for now, this is a Victron Blue smart charger in these sizes. Again, in the future we will be adding more battery chargers. So for now I'll just put up an inverter, 250 VA. It's not showing because sometimes the images don't load. That can happen. Just change one or two things in the wiring diagram and it will be shown again. So this is how you make your wiring diagram. Quite easy. Then you have some 12 or 24 volt appliances as well. Let's explain that as well. Here you can select a LED light, a reading light, a diesel heater, a USB charger, or your custom device. In your custom device that can be, I don't know, a compressor or a boiler, and you can just fill in how much amps it is, how far it is away from here, and then you see it calculates a wire size and a fuse size. If you have a 15 amp device on 15 meters distance, you need a wire size of 16 millimeters, and that goes both ways. So the negative wire needs to be 16 mil and the positive wire needs to be 16 mil. For now we're just going to put in here an LED light. This most have 1.3 amps and we can put it on 6 meters, and then you need 1.5 millimeter wire, a negative and a positive one. And so here you can put up all kinds of USB chargers, whatever you want. So that's how you make your own wiring diagram. And next to that you can just fill in how far your wires are from the bus bar, and it will automatically calculate how big your wires should be. And the same goes for your fuses. Here you see a 60 amp fuse, which is sufficient for a 250 VA inverter. But if we change this to a 1600 VA, you can see here it changes to a 250 amp fuse and a 50 millimeter cable. If we make it smaller again, we can see it is a 25 millimeter cable with a 125 amp fuse here. So that's calculated for all the devices so that you basically can't make a mistake. So once you are done with your wiring diagram, you can download it and you can see your products. As of this recording, we are still in beta with this, so all the products are not showing up in here, but we are currently working on it. So the idea is that if you have selected the inverter, it shows, okay, you need that many cables, that fuse size, you need these fuses for that, etc, etc. So then you can go back and everything is still as you have implemented it. And that's basically, in a very long way, what you can do with the wiring diagram, how it works. If you have any more questions, yeah, let me know and I'll try to answer them. Thank you.